I know our next guest was down for a couple of days. It's the flu bug that kind of has hit a few guys, but he looks healthy now. He's back, and he is joining us here.
Michael King, was it the flu that got you, or was it just the Arizona wind and air?
I don't think it was the Arizona wind and air. I was shivering for like 36 hours with like a hoodie and sweatshirt. It wasn't fun.
But oh my God.
We're good.
Everything's good now.
Yeah, I got a little congestion, but you can probably hear it. So maybe work some magic on the sound bites there. Make me sound a little cooler.
Paulie is the wizard.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to work the magic for us yet.
No, so, not yet, but it's fine. It's fine, man. It's good to see you again. You know, last year sitting down with you, getting to know you a little bit. Man, what a season for you. I mean, it was a delight to watch, and you know, we've been talking about it all off season, and it's like when Michael King is on, he is the nastiest pitcher in baseball, dude, and it was a lot of fun to watch last year. We all expected, you know, really good things. Were you? I don't want to ask if you were surprised by how good your season went, but were you?
I guess I can't say I was surprised. Obviously, I try to put all the work in that I 100%. Can do, and I set hefty goals for myself every year. So I actually came up short of my 180 inning goal in the regular season, and then I wanted to get to 200.
That was a crazy goal.
Playoffs. Come on now. So now it's a 200 inning goal in the regular season. So I'm still trying to get to those levels. I had a great support staff with the other starters around me. Ruben was obviously great for me. Higgy was awesome for me coming in. So I had a lot of guys that kind of molded me into what I did last year.
How different though now? Because last year when we talked to you, you were introducing yourself to a new team, wanted to prove yourself as a full-time starter. It's very different this year around. You know, they're expecting you to be part of that starting rotation, and obviously those goals are now more realistic coming back. So how different is this spring for you?
Definitely a little, just because I feel like I have a spot on the team. I feel like I can assume more of a leadership role. We have that fifth spot open, and a lot of guys that are, one, similar to me, but two, are guys that are in my in the same category as me, like Stephen Kolek coming from a reliever role. I know Brito is kind of in that same position where he was a reliever for us last year. So there are guys that are making that transition that I did last year. So I'm trying to just be a guidance for them and see how good our fifth spot can be this year.
You know, we were obviously, I think everybody was kind of wringing their hands in the off season, you know, with the potential of you going into Arb. And I saw you on a podcast. I can't remember whose podcast it was. Kluber. And Kluber was asking you about the process, and you know, I thought you handled it really well. I mean, you're like, yeah, this could happen. And you know, we were kind of kicking around, what might one say to a Michael King in arbitration? Like, you're too good, and your hair is too good, and his teeth are too white, and he is.
Tyler, shut up over there.
You're too much of a bulldog.
Too much
on
of
the
the community
mound.
with his foundation. It's really kind of annoying, actually.
Yeah. Yes, we need a little bit more dirt. Get your uniform a little more dirty.
What stuff's a little too nasty, actually.
But I thought your
making the other players look bad.
You guys are making me feel good.
I thought your perspective of when you said, "Look, you know, this is the way it is," because they will use, or they will, at least the thread in there will be, well, we converted you, we kind of don't know, you know. I mean, I think that you've proven that, and they know that, and you ended up avoiding it anyway. But how what's that process like for you? You're like, all right, I may have to go sit in a room with this. It can't be fun.
Yeah, that was a conversation I had with my agent, because there are obviously the players that have okay years and they can just rip you apart for how bad your season was. And he was like, you won't be sitting in that room and getting ripped apart by whoever it is, the Padres.
I don't know. They've never done it under AJ.
So under AJ. So I don't think they know who it would be.
And so what he thought their main argument was going to be is just because I was coming from a lower salary. I was coming from a reliever salary.
Right.
And so that's partially why I was so stern on the number that I wanted to get to,
setting lofty goals.
But it's also just like, you want to break the system a little bit for the next reliever turn starter.
Sure.
And it's like, relievers get paid less than starters. It's a fact. And I didn't want to then continue to get screwed by getting paid like a reliever the whole time because I started as a reliever. So the argument was like, he already got screwed once for being paid like a reliever. Don't let it happen again and let him get paid like a starter.
Yeah.
So kind of the principle of the matter. Interesting. We're talking to Michael King, Padres, definitely starting pitcher here.
Starting pitcher. Whoa.
On
Starting
97th Street.
everybody.
Is there anything you're working on changing in terms of repertoire, or is it simply just refining what worked so well for you last year?
Honestly, it's still refining. I added that fifth pitch in like the little gyro slider I had last year. Didn't throw it very often, so I want to throw that a little bit more, but I also want to my main thing is to be, I feel like with both fastballs, I can command the fastball in 4 quadrants. With the slider, sweeper, and changeup, I really only have like the strike pitch and the 2-strike pitch. I want to be able to throw the changeup to both sides of the plate. I want to be able to throw the sweeper actually elevated a little bit and for swing and miss away off the plate. I want to be able to throw it into lefties, away to lefties. There's so many different things that I need to feel comfortable with before I can add another pitch. And I felt like the little gyro slider was big for me just to steal some weird strikes or get soft contact. And now it's really just refining the command of all those pitches.
Do you, with a guy, and again, I would watch your 2-seam and I just go, my God, there's nobody's coming close to this thing. It was a marvel. That game you threw against the Dodgers, it was just like it was a work of art. It really was. I think about it all the time. And do you chase velo? Are you in the off season, I would love to add a tick here and there. I'm going to get in my legs more, whatever it may be, strengthen my core and try to get an extra tick on the fastball.
I think everybody would like to have an extra tick.
Sure.
I don't know if there's anybody out there that wants to lose velo or are we good? Sorry. But my main thing with my fastball velocity is to make sure that I have enough. I know I'm not going to be that Dylan Cease throwing 100 in the seventh inning, freaking nut. But if I have the mid 90s fastball, but can still keep the movement of it, and then use that to have my other pitchers get some deception, then it's fine. So my thing is actually more just a mechanical thing. I need to have that late hand speed. I need to hide the ball. I need to command it and get into my front hip. And those things, I know when they're there, the velocity will be mid 90s. And I know that as of now, I'll knock on wood, it's helped me through. It's serviced me.
Michael, I wanted to ask you about one of your new teammates, Nick Pivetta, who I assume you saw in the AL East when he was pitching for Boston a few times. He's only been here a little bit of time, but what are your first impressions? I know he's supposedly kind of an intense competitor out there. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, obviously playing against him, you see that. There's been a lot of the position players on the team that I was on say they hate facing him just because he's that like ultra competitor. He's the one that's grunting on a changeup. He's the one that's like strutting around the mound. I call it like prime Scherzer, which Scherzer's on like his 20K games. He's like strutting around the mound like he's like a feral beast,
like a madman,
And it was kind of funny because yesterday he threw a live BP.
We were there,
right there.
We saw it,
and
they were chirping. It was Tim and Toddy, and they were chirping. It was unbelievable. It was fun. It was like theater.
Joe said, and I totally agree with him, he can't wait for a start day because he wants to drink like 3 Red Bulls and get on the same wavelength as him and be like strutting around with Pivetta.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a fun start day now for a guy like that.
And we talked to Joe Musgrove yesterday. We're talking to Michael King right now, and we were asking Joe too about the losing Higgy. We loved Higgy. He was the best. This is a great dude, a great human being, and a great catcher, and had a monster year.
Yep. Contributed
a ton for you. So now you're going to have to work with other catchers as well. Do you think about that a lot, or do you say, hey man, this is what it is, and we got to get on the same page. We got to do it quick.
Definitely the latter. Obviously, Higgy was great. I was in a locker room with him, I think, for 8 straight years, which is kind of fun. And he's such a great dude. He's great to have in the locker room. He definitely missed. But, I worked with Campy last year. I actually don't think I worked with Diaz in a game last year. He caught a couple bullpens of mine. Sully, I worked with a bunch. So it's like I already have a decent rapport with them. But I also think that a guy like Higgy, how he commands a staff trickles down to the next guys.
Sure.
I thought it was huge for even like an Ethan Salas to see how he worked, because Salas is coming soon, and it's like you have this veteran guy that knows how to handle a staff, that can call a game, that can separate offense and defense and go out there and have an awesome season. So I think a lot of those guys probably learn from a guy like Higgy, and I now I just can't wait to work with them.
Did any of them learn how to play The Trooper by Iron Maiden? Because that's what I'm going to miss the most about Higgy is talking guitars with him in the clubhouse. Like me and him he's the only big leaguer I've ever met that likes heavy metal like I do. Literally the only one. Everybody else likes country or rap or whatever.
Yep.
And that's why I fell in love with the dude, because I love heavy metal too. And he's a guitar player, and nobody else. Who's going to shred in the clubhouse this year? Quiet. It's just gonna be quiet.
It's gonna be quiet. It's gonna be dead silent.
Dead silent.
Oh man.
Last thing for me, Michael, and this is probably the tough one at the end. Last year of arbitration.
Oh
so
boy.
Obviously, we don't know what happens after 2025.
We would like to offer you a contract right now.
Well, yeah,
for Better Woods and
I mean, if we could, you start the foundation. You're putting some roots down in San Diego. We'd love to see you stay.
That's our pitch.
You had to be a little bit flexible, even to get the 1-year arbitration deal done. We saw some of the funny things that had to do with that contract. We don't know what the Padres in terms of financially, but have there been any talks, any discussion about anything long term yet?
There has not been anything.
Nothing yet.
No. Obviously, I love San Diego. Team's great, front office is great, but
sounds good. He's back.
Anything.
He's coming back. That's it. He said it right here.
Well, all we can hope is that the price tag keeps going up and up and up this year. It's just Michael King has another
that's what he wants.
Fantastic season. So make it hurt.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Thank you. And if I don't get a contract, I'll just come work for you guys.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
Works for us, man.
Thanks so much. Good luck. Anything new on the foundation? I keep seeing your posts. You guys are doing a lot of good work.
The Padres have been great. We're now in heavy discussions. I think we finalized today, but I don't want to say it for our foundation event this year.
Yep.
We're also going to do a little something at the ballpark, so it's going to be a great season.
We'll stay tuned for that. Thank you, Michael. Good to see you again.
Thanks, guys.